Pick number 3, my lord.
This is what happened to every lost Shrek character. Shrek is one of the greatest animation franchises ever. It gave us one hell of a grumpy ogre, a talking donkey who never shuts up, and enough fairy tale chaos for a lifetime. And while the main characters got their happily ever after, not everyone was so lucky. They didn't die, they just stopped existing. Well, this is what actually happened to them. Starting off with one of the most underrated background legends ever, aka Lord Farquaad's hulking, hooded executioner. In the first Shrek movie, this guy was everywhere. He handled all of Farquaad's dirty work. But Theonius wasn't just some background character. This dude had a personality. Remember when Fiona and Shrek kissed during her wedding with Lord Farquaad and he wrote, "Aw," on one of those cue cards?
Lord.
This displayed his true, humble nature. He even attends Shrek and Fiona's wedding and Shrek's karaoke dance party.
We're at the bottom,
so that the dancers just won't hide.
He was loyal, expressive, and somehow weirdly lovable. When I first saw the film as a kid, I could swear that he was an ogre. I always thought he would have to fight Shrek one-on-one, and when the mask comes off, he has to be his brother or something. Well, that's clearly how imagination works, I guess. However, Theonius clearly isn't human. I'm just in a forever debate with myself if he is an ogre or not. Some people say he has green skin like an ogre, and other people say that he just has green or yellow lenses, or it's clearly thin cloth material stitched on a mask. But you can't ignore the fact that his shape is just like Shrek, right? Maybe I'm overthinking, but don't the green bits look like the forehead of someone like Shrek? Like an ogre knocked out the real Theonius and took his hood, which obviously just doesn't properly fit him, but nobody questioned it. Only the ears are missing. Maybe Lord Farquaad cut them off as torture. But okay guys, what happened to him? After Shrek 4D, he is never seen or heard from again. He betrays Farquaad's ghost and helps Shrek, Fiona, and Donkey escape. They nearly fall into the waterfall, but are rescued by Dragon. He is seen riding on Dragon's back, and then, well, he just disappeared off the face of the earth, like he was nothing, nobody. He might have become the Dragon's personal hype man, or he quit execution and opened a bakery. But really, since Lord Farquaad is gone, DreamWorks probably didn't know what to do with Theonius after that. So they wrote him off the script, which sucks because let's be honest, he is one of those side characters who even if he has 40 seconds into the show, it just wouldn't be the same movie without him. If you ask me, Theonius should have definitely made a non-speaking cameo appearance at the end of Shrek Forever After. What a loss. Next up, we have a French-accented Robin Hood parody we met in the first Shrek film. Msure Hood was the leader of the Merry Men and a local robber.
And I'm good. Msure Hood. Wick it down.
He swings in out of nowhere to rescue Fiona, drops into full musical theater mode, and gives us an absolutely unhinged performance about helping the poor and lay punching. The dude sings, flips, kicks, and tries to fight Shrek mid-serenade. It's peak chaos. I still can't believe they just straight up showed a French dude in a children's movie. There should be a parental warning at the start. Okay, no, I'm just kidding, guys. But seriously, I never understood why he was French. I guess it's just the absurdity of a French Robin Hood that is part of the joke, and the accent is funny as hell. Hood and his merry men are later seen in Shrek in the Swamp Karaoke Dance Party, where they perform YMCA in the final.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
But just as quickly as he appeared, he also disappears. Because that's the last we ever see of him and his men. Not a single return, no post-credits cameo, no sign of him in the background of Far, Far Away. Nothing. And that's actually wild because in a franchise that kept bringing back minor characters, Msure Hood was way more memorable than some of them. I always chose Msure Hood when I played Shrek Super Party. Don't ask me why, please, but man, that was a great time to be alive. However, DreamWorks must have decided one ridiculous Robin Hood parody moment was enough. Or they thought he'd upstage Prince Charming and cut him off. I think we just must assume that he is somewhere, far, far away, still singing his lungs out in the woods. Please tell me we all remember this bounty hunter who uses a magical flute to charm creatures into dancing out of their control. Yup, guys, who else could it be? The Pied Piper.
Pied Piper.
This guy shows up in the first Shrek film, where he rallies rats with his magic flute. In Forever After, he is hired as a bounty hunter by Rumpelstiltskin to capture Shrek. And even though he doesn't say a single word, he leaves a huge impression. I mean, come on, look at him. This guy is just vibing with his magic flute and somehow is scarier than half the villains in the franchise. With just a touch on that thing, he lets ogres, rats, and witches dance like little minions.
Stop! I can't control myself! Oh, yeah! Click is bringing the heat out.
In one of the final scenes, he even torments Rumpelstiltskin by making him dance against his will. Just give me that damn flute already. I always wondered why he never speaks. I mean, he's just a normal guy, but then a magic flute? It was always my headcanon that he gave up his voice in exchange for his flute and ability. Like, if you can control people with a flute solo, what's the point of talking? No idea how Rumpel and Piper understand each other, but I guess they probably hung out at Poison Apple and became friends or something. But after all that, well, that's it. The Pied Piper just walks off screen and never returns. He's totally alive, never seen him in a battle or die, but he's just, well, missing? DreamWorks probably thought the budget on a flautist was too high. All right, guys, now who remembers a trio of mice who hung around Shrek and his friends? The three blind mice were some of the OG crew from Shrek's earliest days. They first show up in Shrek when they think that Shrek is a huge block of cheese and start nibbling his ear.
Gotcha! I found some cheese! Blech, awful stuff.
They even are turned for a second into horses by the fairy godmother. They stuck around in Shrek 2, and you could spot them partying around the house. They even help Shrek escape jail. By the time 3 appears, things get a bit weird. They appear briefly at King Harold's funeral, but that's actually almost it. And in Shrek Forever After, well, they're actually as good as gone. In a deleted scene, they were in an alternate universe stabbing Shrek's foot with their canes. But, as I said, that scene got deleted. No explanation, no mice retirement, just replaced by a whole new batch of side characters. What makes their disappearance so strange is that the 3 blind mice were part of the main gang in the beginning. They were always there, with the big bad wolf, with Gingy. They were even in the promos. Like, what the heck? But then, in Donkey's Christmas Shrektacular, which was released shortly after Shrek 4, the 3 appear again when they attend Donkey's Christmas party at the Candy Apple. They are seen singing and dancing like they never left. They even have their own verse.
Home minded like a Santa is due. teases and pleases the stick pretty bird. That makes Christmas glow.
I honestly laughed at every scene they were in, and they deserve more love and attention, right? The supporting acts in Shrek, like the three pigs, the mice, Gingy, Pinocchio, and Wolf, have always been one of my favorites. I always feel kind of sad for them. They're either hit by something, or forgotten, or eaten, or lost. Gingy has been eaten twice, yet somehow these little guys manage to avoid enough danger to stay alive, as blind mice. Blind mice! You can't tell me that these guys made it through all of this just to get cut from the script like that. The real reason why they didn't appear as much as they should have in 4? To be honest with you guys, I have no idea. It's not like they're gone for good since they popped up in Donkey's Christmas short, which was released after 4. So yeah, they're definitely alive. DreamWorks just forgot to give them screen time in the final movie. Let's just hope they remember the 3 mice next year when Shrek 5 finally drops. Do you know the Muffin Man? Of course you do. He lives on Drury Lane, and he's responsible for one of the most iconic characters in the entire Shrek universe. He created Gingy. But here's what people forget. The Muffin Man himself isn't just some myth in Shrek. He actually shows up in Shrek 2 and Shrek Forever After, the real one.
Gingy!
Fire up the ovens, Muffin Man! We've got a big order to fill!
He's the one who builds Mongo, the giant gingerbread kaiju that takes on the fairy godmother's castle. That's some baking wizardry. And in Forever After, he's seen again, alive and well, still baking, still vibing. He even makes a cake for Shrek. But just like so many others, that's it. He doesn't appear in the big final battles, and he's also never mentioned again. Even though Gingy sticks around and gets a big heroic scene, his dad is just left out. Okay, now to be fair, I know that the Muffin Man was never meant to be a lead character, but I mean, he was definitely part of the Shrek gang, right? He made one of the most powerful allies of the squad, and he's the creator of the Gingy. That's enough reason for me to keep him in the script, even as a minor character. Luckily for us, he appeared briefly in Scared Shrekless that came out later that year when he makes Gingy a new bride. I mean, the Best Dad award goes to? You can even spot him just for a second in Shrek Thriller Night if you look closely. So that confirms that he is certainly not dead. If Shrek 5 wants to go full nostalgia, they better bring back this baking legend. Okay, this one's a deep cut. Who remembers Raul? Raul? Yeah, Raul.
Come in here and work on Shrek, please.
I will see what I can do.
If you ever rewatched Shrek 3 and thought, who the hell is this fancy male dresser giving Shrek a medieval makeover? Well, that's him. He's this wardrobe assistant who helps Shrek and Fiona get dressed for the royal family. Now remember him? Raul only appears in a handful of scenes, but he leaves an impression for such a minor character. Shrek's reaction to all the pampering made the whole thing even better. And well, that's actually all we see from him. No cameo in Shrek Forever After or in shorts. Not even a background nod at the castle. He just had one fabulous catwalk run. In a universe packed with ogres, witches, and living pastries. This human character was probably just too normal. So well, maybe he gets to style Fiona again in Shrek 5. Otherwise, he might have just moved back to Paris. Time to talk about two of Far Far Away's iconic background queens, Doris and Mabel. You know, the ugly stepsisters of Cinderella. Doris is this flamboyant bartender at the Poison Apple, with this look and deep voice you can't miss. We all remember Doris, right?
Some boys take a beautiful girl and hide her away from.
She even becomes one of Shrek's best friends during the franchise. Mabel joins the party in Shrek 3. Unlike Doris, Mabel actually helps Prince Charming in his evil plan to take over Far, Far Away. Doris really got her moment, especially when she helped the good guys, stood up for Fiona, and even joined the fairytale rebellion against Prince Charming. Yeah, guys, I know there is this ongoing discussion about what kind of gender Doris actually is. It's pretty obvious if you ask me, but if you pay attention in Shrek 2, it becomes clear. When Shrek and Donkey go to the fairy godmother's cottage, in the potion room as well as her office there, you can see before and after pictures on her wall. Doris is actually one of them. It's quite hard to spot and it's very quick, but it's definitely her. Next time you rewatch Shrek, try to spot it. Luckily, the DVD extras have pictures of all the before and after photos. So, as you can see, the fairy godmother did actually help Doris with her happily ever after. So, I guess she is a trans ally? Or well, maybe she did it just for business. She also turned a good witch into a green bad witch and a two-eyed man into a cyclops, who was technically a villain. So, she was already creating villains herself. Maybe it was just a strategic move to make Doris into an ugly stepsister since Cinderella was also one of her customers. And Mabel? Well, I think Mabel is supposed to be ugly, as well as Doris. And to make it even more ridiculous, they used male voice actors. Both again appear in Shrek Forever After at the Ogre's Triplets party, and they got to say one line. And after that, you can guess. I don't think either of them will return since both Larry King, who voiced Doris, and Regis Philbin, who voiced Mabel, passed away. Maybe, just maybe, a silent cameo. Doris and Mabel added something to the Shrek universe, and I actually would love to have them back. But I doubt it for this reason. Next up, we have the Worcestershire Academy gang. Let's start with Mr. Merlin. He's this retired ex-magic teacher from King Arthur's school who shows up in Shrek 3. Total burnout, wears a bathrobe, talks like he's stuck in some spiritual yoga retreat, and casts spells like some drunk toddler.
It is how excruciatingly painful it may be. It'll wear off eventually, I think.
My man, at some point, I was almost expecting to see a penis cage. He actually reminds me of a white college girl who only eats organic food and reads her horoscope. Does someone remember that part where he plays that song while Shrek and Arthur are having a heartfelt conversation? Please tell me if someone remembers this. This bro was a troll. He was also the one that body swapped Donkey and Puss, remember? Quite powerful if you can body swap, if you ask me. You would think that kind of power would come in handy later on, maybe to defeat Rumpelstiltskin. But nope, Merlin never shows up again after 3. Just one movie, that's it for him. I personally love him as a character, but he's got like 10 minutes or less of screen time in the least liked Shrek movie, so I guess a lot of people forgot about him. Then there's also Lancelot. He's this cocky, dumb as a rock, and somehow confident enough student at this school.
There is no sweeter taste on thy tongue than victory.
Oh, and he's the captain of the jousting team. Yep, they have those at Worcestershire Academy. Shrek first mistakes this dude for Arthur and carries him around like some sack of potatoes. He's got this cool, popular swag guy vibe until Arthur gets crowned as the next king and threatens to kick Lancelot and his bully crew out of Far, Far Away. And then, Lancelot disappears, never gets humbled, and we never see him grow. But we're not done yet. Nope. Shrek 3 actually introduced a whole lineup of fairy tale students and teachers at King Arthur's school. This movie was like a whole detour from Far, Far Away. I know that Shrek 3 gets a lot of hate because of lazy writing and boring jokes, but it's not complete trash in my opinion. I must say, it's not as good as the first two, but it's still not that bad either, right? It's just the weakest one. I definitely still enjoyed it. Just try to get past the toilet humor, and then you're good. Well, for this reason, I don't think either Merlin, Lancelot, or the Worcestershire gang will be back. If you ask me, Merlin deserved better. In another universe, Shrek will really become king, and Merlin is an intelligent wizard casting healing spells to cure King Harold. So there you have it, guys. Shrek characters who gave us everything, except for their goodbyes. From Theonius, who went from swinging axes to vanishing axe, to the three mice, who survived dragons, castles, and 1,000 falls only to get left out of the plot. Raul, Doris, Mabel, even Merlin. They were all part of this fairy tale madness, just until they weren't. And the truth? I'm doubting if we will ever get official answers from DreamWorks. They probably already moved on, plotting new characters while we are sitting here begging to bring back some of the iconic ones.